Hey everyone, my name is Liv, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I talk about books and reading for the most part. And today I wanted to make a little different type of video where I'm not really talking about the books that I've been reading, but I want to give my personal advice on getting into or back into reading, because I know that it's a habit that a lot of people have either fallen out of or never developed at all. I personally fall into the category of people who just really liked reading as a child in elementary and middle school, and then as a teenager I just kind of fell out of it and it became more of a chore or a school assignment. But in the past few years I have gotten really back into reading. In 2023 I read I think 56 books, and in 2024 I read 78 books, and this year I am aiming to read about 80. I think that's the direction we're heading. So I read quite a lot now, and I wanted to give my advice on how to get back into a hobby that is really amazing and how great reading can be. And yeah, I want to start off by saying that we live in an era of phones. We live in the era of TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and Facebook Reels and just scrolling. It is understandable to me why reading might be a less desirable activity for some people, because our phones are designed to be particularly addictive and to keep you glued to them and to be easily consumable. I just want to say that if you really struggle getting off of your phone and doing other activities, me too. The people who are making the apps and the phones and everything are intentionally doing that to you, and you shouldn't beat yourself up too much about it. I also want to clarify a bit of a disclaimer. Reading and reading comprehension are skills, and if you're out of practice, it's gonna be difficult. That is so normal. I know for a fact that I struggled with it. It's kind of like a weakened muscle, right? With consistency and with practice and with time, it will grow stronger. It just will. So you just need to give yourself some grace and just read where you're at, and eventually you will feel yourself become a stronger reader. I know I have. I can feel that I can read faster and I can understand more. It's crazy to think about how it used to feel to read a book 2 years ago versus how it feels to read a book now. Do not beat yourself up if you struggle to get off of your phone, if you struggle to find the motivation to want to read a book, or if you have trouble doing the act of reading and focusing and comprehending, because I have been through that. I think pretty much anybody who has had to redevelop their desire to read has experienced that. That is normal. That is where we're at for a lot of people in this world. And so yeah, ultimately my biggest piece of advice is not to beat yourself up. Don't torture yourself, because that's not the way to enjoy reading. Being mean to yourself and just developing a mean voice to yourself when you struggle is not the way to develop a fulfilling hobby. So, tip 1. What to read. I think when you're first starting, picking up what to read is so important. Finding the genre, the style, the authors that you're interested in is so important. And it can be overwhelming because there's endless possibilities for what you could read. And that's a good thing, because that means there's something out there for you. In terms of finding it, I'm going to start off by telling you what not to do. Do not go onto Google and type in best books to read or most popular books, because those are obviously very vague and they're going to give you such a range of results, and it's not necessarily going to be what's best for you, because those results are going to be so random and not personalized to you or your tastes. And just because a book is very popular, people read it a lot, or even has good reviews, doesn't make it a good book, and doesn't mean that it's going to be suitable for you, and it doesn't mean that you are going to enjoy it. So keep that in mind when you see lists of best books of 2020 whatever, because you don't know if that's gonna work for you. The first thing that I would do if I could go back is to think about what themes and genres you like in other forms of media. What movies do you like? What TV shows? What video games? Or anything that you view as entertainment. What topics do you enjoy? What themes do you enjoy? And start searching for books in that realm. Because for every scary movie, there's a horror book. Or even read the original source material of your favorite movies, because a lot of them come from books. And that's a slippery slope though, because that might change your relationship with the original movie that you enjoyed. So be careful with that. But yeah, really do your digging. Really put an effort to find what you think you might like, because it can be difficult when you are unaccustomed to the reading world and to like the landscape of books, and you're trying to pinpoint where you want to start, you really, I think, should put in the effort to find what you think you might like. And, find non-spoiler reviews, read snippets from different authors, figure out, the themes and topics and stuff of different books. I think you'll have a much better experience. You're more likely to find books that you enjoy that make you want to keep reading, as opposed to just finding like a Colleen Hoover book that was like a bestseller and you might not like it, because a lot of people don't like those. I know I don't. So, yeah. It will still take some trial and error. I think you might still find some books that you thought you were going to like and you don't really, and it will take some time for you to really become like confident in your choices. I feel pretty good about like reading a synopsis of a book and being able to say, oh, I think that's something I'd enjoy versus something I wouldn't. But that's because I've read so many books that you just have to develop that sort of radar of book vibes. That makes any sense at all. Tip 2, be patient while reading. Don't place expectations on yourself to read super fast or read a lot of books in like quick succession or anything like that. Take your time, try to enjoy your books in a way that feels good, in a way that feels natural. Obviously you might have to put in some effort to, pick up a book as opposed to doom scrolling if that's a habit you have, but in general, do not place expectations on yourself that are going to make you just feel worse because, I don't know, when you are online, if you look to Book Talk or other book communities to get inspiration, you're going to see people who read hundreds of books a year. You are going to see people who read like a book a day, who are insane with it. That is not normal. That is not normal at all. Don't look to those people for what the average, like, consistent reader looks like. That's not, even like what I read is not realistic for majority of people. You should do what makes you happy. And if that's one book a week, if that's one book a month is still 12 books in a year, which is more than most people read. So just do what feels good. Read when you want to. If it takes you a long time to finish a book, that's fine. Did you read it? Did you enjoy it? That's what matters. Did you get something out of it? That's what matters. If you only read a couple of books in a year, did you read and enjoy and understand and get something out of those books? That's what matters. So don't rush yourself. Don't try to change your entire life in an instant. I guess I'm just saying that you need to enjoy books at your own pace. Make sure that you're doing it for you and that you're reading to read the content of a book. As in, don't read because you think you're supposed to, or because you think it makes you look better, or it makes you a better person. Because if you're not actually enjoying and getting something out of the books, then it's not benefiting you, and it's not good for you in any way. So, be patient with your books. Do what feels right, because if you don't, you're going to just end up damaging your relationship with reading, I think. Tip 3 is finding community. Now, this is one really good thing about the internet, because sometimes it can be hard to find people in your real life who read, or who read the same types of books as you, or are interested in reading or talking about books. That can be a challenge. But the internet has a lot of those people, has a lot of the people that you are looking for. After you've read that first book or two, go online and find some people who have read those books. Find some reviews. Maybe comment on those videos, or make a video of your own. I find that hearing what other people have to say and interacting with those things can help you become even more invested and excited about reading. And it can help you to think deeper about the books that you're reading and see things you might not have seen before. And I don't know, just develop a sense of excitement and joy. I think connection is a big part of it. And I have loved becoming, a little more active on Book Talk and BookTube, because I get to see comments and follow people and hear reviews of books. And this is also an incredible way to get recommendations. And once you start finding the people who have very similar taste to you, you can start getting all of these great recommendations that you trust because you've seen this person's content, you've seen their reviews, you know what they like, and you have a good idea of what their recommendations are going to mean in terms of your own enjoyment. I think it's great. I highly, highly, highly recommend going on to the internet. Or find a local book club. I guarantee you there's one near you. If you're in school, you can probably find or make a book club. Look around at, look up some of the bookstores in your area, because some of those have book clubs. Your local library might have a book club. You can find it, I promise. Or you can start one. You can start a book club with your friends. I don't know. I think community is a very, very helpful part of getting into, enjoying, and being so excited about reading, because it's exciting when you're connecting with other people and hearing what they have to say and sharing your own thoughts and getting recommendations. I think it's so good. And yeah, so find community, because if you're just all in your own head about it, it's not as fun. Tip 4, don't give up. This one kind of goes along with the patience one, but I'm thinking more long term with tip 4. Because developing a consistent reading habit will take time, and specifically, in my opinion, it takes some trial and error. I think sometimes you're going to go through a book slump. Sometimes you're going to find a book that you thought you were going to like and you don't, and you're disappointed. Or you just feel unmotivated or uninterested. Maybe things in your life are getting really busy or really intense. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're sick. That's life, bro. And this is all normal, and this is all not a big deal. Going back to the community tip from before, there is some comparing yourself that you might feel tempted to do. People who are reading more, who are reading faster, who are reading, who have different, who comprehend books differently than you, who, you might think are smarter than you or cooler than you or whatever it is that your brain comes up with. And I really, 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 really want to urge you not to do that and not to give up, and don't think that your reading habits are bad or not normal, because it's easy to want to give up and just go back to doom scrolling. But don't. Because over time, you can and will develop a amazing relationship with books and reading. But it does take time, and it does take patience, and it takes not giving up. But lastly, I just want to talk about why I like reading and why I think you should read. And I've also thought about making an entire video about just that, about why I read, why I love reading. I'll give a quick synopsis of it here. I really like reading because it is immersive in a way that no other media entertainment form has been for me. I love being in the head of a character and hearing all of their thoughts and seeing a story and a situation through a character's eyes. Of course, there is no music or visuals or sounds, which changes things, but you are inside of a story in a way that you can't be with a movie, because you can't read what a character is thinking in an actor's eyes, and you can't fit all of the details and all of the scenes in a movie in the same way that you can in a book, because a book allows for so much more detail in terms of, books are a lot longer than a movie script. Typically, you read a book over the course of a few days or weeks, so, an author puts so much more depth into the characters and into the story and into the setting. And that's another thing. I think a setting can be so much more fleshed out in a book. Backstory can be so much more fleshed out in a book. Books contain more about the inner person. From the books that I read, they contain more about the inner person and the inner workings of characters than a movie really can. And people are going to disagree with me on that. But in my experience, that is how I have felt. And that is what I've taken away from the books that I've read and the movies that I've watched. And I don't dislike movies. I do like watching movies sometimes. But I'm a book person 100%, and I think that you can learn so much from books, and I think you can develop so much knowledge and empathy and just new ideas from books. And it's incredible. So, read, get into reading. It's worth it. It is so worth it, and it's so good for you.